How's it going, guys? It's MetaGamesGX here, and we have Sam, and what did you just do today?
I 4-0'd locals with Marincess.
So he has an probably the best Marincess build I've ever seen, so I really wanted to showcase this, so we'll start with the main deck.
Alright, so to start, the heart and soul of the deck, the 3 Marincess Blue Tang. Just an insane starter.
Yeah, so this is the card that kind of gets your engine going.
Right, you know, Foolish Burial, whatever you want, and then Duality, see what else you can get. The Link 1s really break this card. It being level 4 doesn't hurt either. Really good stuff. And then the next best main deck monster, Marincess Seahorse. This is also considered partly heart of the soul of the deck because 1-card Link 2s are really good. Yeah, if this card was a level 4, it'd be broken. So.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then Marincess Pascalis, running 3 of these as well. Just good extension from hand, but the graveyard effect is mainly the reason it's super good. Recurring dive, wave, battle ocean. Every turn is just really good. Also, it being level 4 is insane. And then next up, 3 Marincess Spring Girl. Same thing, it being level 4. It's also an extender from the hand. Really good. Can mill cards if used as link material. Gets that burn damage in for time. You know, that's one of the boxes ticked for the previous format.
I have lost in time to this man by minus 200.
It's more than you that's lost to it. Everyone loses to it. And then Silver Bullet main deck monsters with Marincess in their name. Sleepy Maiden and Mandarin. This card is always played in every Marincess build. This one I've been playing since day one. When the new Ice Jade tuner comes out in Cyberstorm Access, this card's going to be ran in everything, but I just like it. It's a little guy.
What does it do currently?
It's just another extender from the grave, basically. I mean, sometimes I feel like I have too many options, and so it seems like this card might be kind of a brick. But when you have certain plays disrupted, it can really help you get back in the game. And it's just a decent normal summon. It's also a great send off of a card that we'll show later, but yeah.
Sounds
good. Really good to send to the grave, and with the new Ice Jade tuner, it's going to be ridiculous. Making Dragite and Changing like it's nothing. And then for the Marincess spell cards.
Oh, before you go into spells, if you don't mind. So what made you, I should have asked you this before, what makes you play Marincess this format?
Well, I, for one, just really like the deck. I just like the theme of, you know, I've always had a personal affinity for water monsters, and I wanted a deck that was, like, similar to Salmon Grape, because that's what my brother plays, and so this is what ticked all the boxes for me. Spring Girl does burn damage, so it can help in time against lower matchups like Runic or previous format tier limits.
Yeah, okay.
And, you know, it made Dweller, so it was really good in the previous format. That just kind of made me play it. I've been playing it ever since, basically.
Do you think it got better, essentially, then, with the tier limits getting all hit? Like, it's in a lot better position than it was?
I think it just has different problems to face, but it's nothing the deck can't handle. You know, like Kashtira, who cares?
All right.
Just play side deck cards. Like, I'm probably just going to change other cards that'll show in this deck for, like, Book of Eclipse and stuff. Like, the main deck is super malleable. The main deck engine for Marincess is only, like, 24, 25 cards.
And everything else is kind of just like...
generics, hand traps, and, yeah, that's basically it. Super small engine, you can just jam a bunch of stuff. And you're drawing cards throughout the course of the game, so hand traps are not dead. It's kind of like Heat Soul Salad a little bit.
I see why it kind of stands the test of time during different formats, since you're able to kind of build it your way.
Right, and yeah, against the Runic player that I played tonight, being able to draw a card every turn with Great Bubble Reef was insane. I ended with like 7 cards in my hand.
Oh my gosh, can't wait to see that on the feature match.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a really good game.
They'll be on the YouTube channel, but yeah, let's get into the spells.
So I play 2 Battle Ocean because everyone plays 2 Battle Ocean. 3 is too many, 1 is not enough. It's a beautiful card. Beautiful field spell.
That's the Hollow team.
Right. And then Duelist from the Deep gave us this gem, Marincess Dive. Pretty busted, kind of just fixes a lot of the problems the deck had. Summoning from deck, always good. Being a monster reborn that's searchable, also really good. Get it back with Pascalis. Start plays from the graveyard.
You can
like
search that off for
Hardboard.
us.
Yeah. And then a bit controversial, but I run 3 Marincess Wave. I see a bunch of lists running 1 or 2, but I never had a problem with this. And 3 Wave, it comes up so much, just having multiples of them. It's just so good.
I was gonna say, so like, yeah, what made you end up running 3 over the 1 or 2 standard? Like, were there just situations in the last meta that kind of came up, or is this something for the new meta?
It's not anything to do with any sort of meta. I just like the card. So I'm running 3, and it is busted.
What are some situations that you're like, oh, I wish I'm glad I ran 3? Like,
well, against the Runic players, 3 of my 7 cards were the 3 waves. Against branded tier limits, I had 3 waves in my hand. It comes up a lot, a lot, and it's never bad to draw. Like, I don't know, people want to play hand traps and stuff. That's cool. Play more generic cards, but I love 3 wave. It's never let me down.
you resolve this card a lot. Like,
Yeah, because I have multiples of it. So if the first one gets negated, I have another one. But yeah, like it. I just want to open it every game because if I can't make my monster unaffected through Crystal Heart, it's nice to have the backup option as well as just being a play interruption. Really good, and it's searchable. That's really busted.
it's one of the best cards in the deck, honestly. At least every time I play against you, it puts in the most work.
Yeah, it's super relevant. I love that card. But away from the Marincess cards, now we're moving on to the generics. This was the card I was talking about with Mandarin earlier. If you send that card off Signet Mining, it's really good. It's just a Rhoda. Every Cybers deck plays 3 of it, I'd imagine.
I was gonna say, so your deck typically does play this, but the fact that you're running that 1 Marincess really does at least put some more value into it.
Yeah, and if you want to play other generic cards, like you could run Sea Archiver as well. I'm going to probably consider that with the new Ice J tuner because it's level 3. But yeah, mainly just Mandarin is a good send. There are a lot of fine sends, though. It's not like I'm ever going minus with Sino Mining because it starts all of my plays.
Sure.
And if I need extenders, I have these 2 to rely on. Shathana's a great starter, and yeah, Silent Sea Nettle is just really nice. This almost came up recycling extra deck options that aren't Marincess names. So, you know, Silent Sea Nettle is definitely a staple. I like Shathana because under certain sort of floodgates, not saying like, you know, there can be only one, but rather like Dimensional Fissure and stuff, you don't really want to commit to plays. So having additional monsters that you can summon to go into like Xyz plays or whatever, it's just really nice to have in case you want to just build a decent-esque board, but not commit too many resources.
So you're not using it for its second effect then, right?
No, it's literally unusable in this deck. There's no non-effect monsters. I want my monsters to do something, so I play effect monsters. It's just an extender from the hand.
You wouldn't want to play like a Shiren then because it gets rid of a resource at that point.
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't want to play a Shiren then, or just because it's not water and also it would take away a resource. Yeah.
I can't play non-water monsters.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but that's keeping this deck fair. But well, I do get to play non-water monsters. They're just hand traps.
Sure.
I don't get to summon these. But yeah.
Was Ash coming up a lot today?
Well, I just like to have it because Branded Bestial is going to be an insane deck, and Ash just stops Branded Fusion even through Lost. So yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
It can change throughout the format though. Like I was running 2 of this before. I had cut it before. I'm just running 3 because Branded Bestial is really good. It also just destroys Kashtira. JK. I don't know if it does.
I was gonna say,
if
does
you
it?
Ash Unicorn, then they like have to have Theosis, but like I would just Ash Theosis. And then, like, if they have nothing, I don't know.
Then you get lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't played against the deck yet, but we'll find out when we get to it.
Once you build the deck.
Yeah, I don't know. We got 3 Ghost Bells as well. This card just mainly stops cards that would interact with your graveyard. Like Called by the Grave or, like, Ice Dragon's Prison. I know that these cards aren't like super meta, but like there are just some things that mess with your graveyard, like DD Crow. I mean, you ain't want that. So I just run 3 Bell, but like you could change these hand traps to whatever you want. Like you could play, don't play Gamma, but you know you could play Effect Veiler if you want. DD Crows. It's going to be coming up with the Cyberstorm Access set, so I'd probably pick up Crows, but.
Yeah, you mentioned before this that you actually would play the Crow in the main deck that.
So Cyberstorm Access is going to give Ice Jade a new tuner monster, and like it's really good in this deck, like way better than it would be in Ice Jade. And so it allows you to summon Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying, and Cheng Ying's effect is if a card is banished, you can not target banish a card on the field and in the grave. And so an easy way to trigger that during any time is just to have a DD Crow to banish a card in their grave.
Wow.
Yeah, it also gives your Link 4 boss monster extra attack when you banish stuff with DD Crow. So, yeah, it's just really good.
Can't wait to see that build.
And then for the other generics, we got 3 Forbidden Chalice. You could literally change this to Droplet. Well, Droplet's unusable in Kashtira format, but, you could play whatever you want.
Did this come up? Like, were you glad you played this today?
Yeah, it's just extra copies of Infinite Impermanence. Which I also have 3 of. It just be like that.
He has his ultis in his Zodiac deck.
So, and then the last generic is Called by the Grave. It's just the
crazy card this format.
Well, it's just kind of busted always, but yeah, really good no matter what. I've just always played it in like every deck. But yeah, that's the main
40 cards?
Yeah, you could totally like switch it around the hand traps and stuff, but yeah, mainly the first cards that I showed you. You could switch around the extenders too, like Silent Angler is fine, Sea Archiver is good.
Oh, really?
You could play the Frog Monsters too if you want, but that's really high investment, and you'd probably rather just play the Ice J Tuner. But yeah. And speaking of frogs, let's show the extra deck.
Sounds good.
Just want to be like...
Speaking of frogs.
Yeah. Well, these are the 3xE monsters that I'm going to be playing.
How did these guys perform for you today?
Well, Dweller just destroys Tearlaments and Salamangreat, Phantomite, any sort of style of deck that plays from the graveyard. And then Bahamut Toad is literally disgusting. If you see in the Runic matchup, I stole a triple Tactics Thrust with Toad. I didn't get to use it, though, because it didn't activate a monster effect, but yeah, it was fucking insane. Yeah, there are just so many busted cards, like triple Tactics Thrust, and...
You took my Mirror Jade, and you also
right,
run a
yeah.
or whatever.
Last week I used Toad to set... or no, that wasn't last week, it was this week, my god. I used Toad to destroy Rhino Heart, and then set it to my field, and then they passed, so I flipped Rhino Heart, and then used it as material for Dweller. It was really good.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Best Toad deck.
Also for a generic World Sea Dragon Zealantis. I just like having this card. It's probably going to move to my side deck for when I know I'm going second. But yeah, being waterlocked under Marincess Dive, because it says for the rest of the turn you cannot special summon monsters except water. If you activate Zealantis' effect, and if you read closely, it says you are the one that special summons the monsters. So if you're locked out of special summoning anything except waters, you will banish their whole field, and then all of their non-water monsters just stay banished, because you can't summon them. So, it's just a good way to clear non-water monster boards.
You just prefer to have the space right now?
Right, yeah. Like, given the Ice Jade Tuner's arrival in May, probably going to end up moving this to the side deck, just for when I know I'm going second. But, yeah, Zealantis came up literally once in like 200 duels, but it came up and it was fucking insane. So yeah.
When it did, it was insane.
Right, yeah. Every Marincess build, probably every like water build playing Coral Anemone or anything like that, is probably going to have this card just as a way to out non-water boards. It's kind of like our own access code talker.
Very cool.
Yeah. It was also really good against Tearlaments because banishing their monsters was really good. But yeah, now we just have a bunch of Marincess Link monsters. 2 Blue Slug, it's Kagari. Kagari's really good, so Blue Slug is really good.
Is this pretty standard?
Yeah, yeah. For a long time, I was literally just running 1. I only had 1. Because it didn't get reprinted in Duels from the Deep, and I just didn't order cards for a long time, so I literally was just running 1
You're
for the
just
first couple
JHLing.
weeks. Yeah, once I got the second one, this deck is like unbelievable.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then 2 Sea Angel. This is the card that like is truly insane with Dive. Being able to search a Monster Reborn on a Link 1 is... wow, that's really good. But then it can also just become an E-Telly, so that's also insane.
It sounds insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you're locked into waters the whole time you're doing it, so it's not like you're FTKing your opponent, but... I mean, Abyss Dweller is an FTK against Tier, so technically you are.
Sure.
Coral Anemone,
This card's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's spell speed 1, sprite elf, but it gets cards back, and it's just really good.
It gets the job done.
Yeah, well, excellent card. Mainly because you're going to be equipping Marincess Link monsters to your Link 4s. And so this having a floating effect, in case your boss monster does get outed, is really good. It helps you stay in the game. Yeah, one of the better archetypal Link 2s, generically for water as well. Goatee, Brink for water, like decks like that. They just love this.
Sprite can run it.
Yeah, but it locks them into water, so it's like kind of mid. But you know.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a legend that plays Crystal Heart. People probably don't run this card because of extra X space, but I made it work. I like my monster being unaffected.
I've seen you
open wave.
Yeah, resolve this.
Yeah, if you open wave in your hand, there's probably like not enough fuel to get Crystal Heart into a Link 4. You're probably just gonna have to do like the one card Link 4 without this. But in the hands that you don't open wave, you probably have enough extenders to make it work. So your monster's generally going to be unaffected most of the time. I used this against Sky Striker, and my boss monster was unaffected, and it has a spell negate on it. And I also had like 30 billion hand traps, so yeah, they weren't doing much. And yeah,
they didn't have a good time.
The unaffected really comes up. I just don't ever want to cut Crystal Heart. You can side it out. But
you don't see how people don't play it.
Yeah, I just like unaffected monsters. Like, they help you win
good.
because your opponent can't do anything to them because they're unaffected. So.
Yep.
And then Link 3's got the rock and the triangle. Triangle is insane because it searches wave. So if like you're holding 2 waves, you can just get the third one. That's why you run 3. And then rock helps you stay in the game by just getting cards back. You can, if you survive till the 3rd turn, which this deck often does because you're just like disrupting your opponent a lot, you can banish this from your graveyard for like Spring Girl, and then use your Link 4 to summon this from banish and then get a card back from your grave. It's just really good stuff. Like, it seems like I'm not really saying much, but there's not really much to be said because these card effects are simple. Like, getting a card back every turn is good. If Marbled Rock sticks, it's really good. Coral Triangle, also with its second effect in the graveyard, can be used to bring back Link monsters. Kind of like Pancratop style, like if they control cards and you don't, basically. It comes up a lot. It's very, very, very good. It gets you back into the game for essentially free. Yeah. Like, with this and Pascalist, you can just play from your graveyard semi-Orcust style. It's really cool. Really cool. Just playing from the graveyard for free.
We love to see it.
Yeah. Dimfizz kind of, like, those kind of effects kind of destroy this deck, but it's whatever. That's
You're
why
not
we
the
have
only one.
That's why we have, like, side deck cards and stuff. But yeah, then the Link 4 bosses. Aqua Argonaut. Disruption on turns like 3 and onward because it like bounces a monster during your turn, and then a disruption during their turn, literally always being a spell negate. But you have to summon a monster that's equipped to it. But you know you're playing Marincess, so there's going to be 3 equipped to this thing. And then if you feel like you're going into a slower matchup, like against Runic or against just other control decks like Eldritch and stuff, you can make Great Bubble Reef and draw cards every turn. And then this can also summon your banished Marincess monsters, allowing you to summon a Pascalist, so that way on the next turn you can get another back row back, just helping you refill your resources, you know, build back your engine. And yeah, it's just inevitability that makes this deck good.
Yeah. Would you say that just because, like, I mean, it seemed like you were able to end on a board without these guys and just be fine because you have that inevitability factor, like, you're able to recur. And you just have a lot of extension.
Right, yeah. Like, the thing that really makes this deck tick, besides, like, you know, playing your cards right, I guess, it would be, like, if you manage your resources well, you can actually play through a lot of disruptions. Like, I've broken tier boards, I've broken flu boards. I mean, you need Lancia to help you with those most of the time. But, you know, like... It's very easy to just use one card and go very far with this deck, and if people don't know how to stop Marincess effectively, you can easily steal wins. And it's not like, you know, you lost because you don't know like how to stop me effectively. It's like, damn, Marincess is a good deck. Like, you know, it can put up a bunch of disruptions and stuff. Like, I usually end on like a Dweller, a Toad, a Link 4, and like 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
And if the Link 4 is the one that draws a card every turn, that'll be 4 cards. And so that could be any number of waves or just other hand traps or extra follow-up. And so, you know, if you don't kill me, which you're not going to because my big monster's unaffected, so you're going to have a tough
Tier limit's no longer a thing. You are not getting OTK'd.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I made Dweller against them, the game was already over. But, like, yeah, having a big unaffected boss monster really helps you stay alive. And if you stay alive with this deck, you can very easily win the game on the next turn.
Do you try play that Towers game a lot then?
I try and play the Towers game every game solely because I run Crystal Heart. But in the times where I don't make Crystal Heart, I usually kind of just am like, well, if I have Wave, then my monster is a Towers, but...
You play a bit more stunny in that
Right. If I can't make my monster unaffected, generally, I'll just go for Great Bubble Reef, because Aqua Argonaut being unaffected is truly busted, because it's a form of disruption on your turn and my turn, while also being huge. But in certain matchups, though, it is correct to go for Aqua Argonaut, even if you can't get it unaffected. Like against Branded and Striker, Crystal Beast, any sort of spell-based deck. Like, it might be really good against Kashtira, too, because, you know, stopping their Theosis can be pretty good. But, yeah, like, that's basically it. This deck is super fun. You can build it basically however you want. Like I said, the main engine for this deck really is about like 24, 25 cards. So, you know, you have 15 cards in your main deck and 15 cards in your side deck. Throw whatever you want in there.
And the deck's mad cheap, too. I feel like Marincess is so under the radar for how well it performs.
With Duelist from the Deep reprinting the cards, the value on some of them just dropped a lot. You can definitely get commons of the cards for mad cheap. You could probably get this deck for under like $30. If you do want like bling, though, the cards aren't too expensive, really. It's like one of the more budget decks. It's kind of like Ninja, where it's just cards aren't really that expensive. I mean, you might have to pay the waifu tax, though, for certain cards. I'm probably going to have to when I get a Starlight Rare Marincess Seahorse.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's going to set me back. But yeah, other than that's the deck.
What about, so do you want to just make a quick comment on the side deck? You said it's pretty malleable,
yeah,
kind of.
You can do whatever you want. Like, you could play like Lightning Storm, you could throw Droplet against non-Kashtira decks. You know,
Book of Eclipse.
Book of Eclipse, Sword of Concealing Light, anything you can do against Kashtira. If you are going to be playing this deck, the one side deck card I would recommend is Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Because you're waterlocked, so you don't get any options like Lava Golem or, you know, Sphere Mode. You only get one Kaiju, and it's the water one, so...
Do you run 2 or 3?
I'm running 2 in my side deck now because I have a lot of cards taking up space, but generally you want to run 3. You just want to open it. You can shuffle it back into your deck with Silent Sea Nettle, its graveyard effect. So, like, you know, you have a chance to redraw it again later in the game. You don't have a way to, like, directly add it to your hand outside of, like... I guess you could add it with Toad. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Gamma Seal's the only card I would say is, like, a mandatory side deck card for this deck. But,
sweet.
Other than that, yeah, just do whatever you want.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Congratulations today on going undefeated.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Incredible player. So I guess that'll be the deck profile. Yep. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys later.
Right.
Bye now.
See